After is back, baby! With After Ever Happy, because I guess they need to be quirky. And I mean that both in the literal sense that the After movies are back, and that this one is also interesting again after that third one was a total stinker. I'm not saying that any of them are particularly good, but at least this one wasn't god-awfully boring like the last one. I feel like they personally listened to me as an individual, but maybe it was just that everyone had the same complaint. Either way, the main point being that third one is just so boring. At least this one involves a house getting set on fire, so I'm good. This book was also about 300 pages shorter for my sanity. Now, before we hop in, this is absolutely not a joke. I just need to take a moment to extend a sincere apology to the people of Bulgaria. In my last After video, I expressed some confusion that that movie and this installment were filmed like back to back in Bulgaria. And it definitely sounded more like I was judging the country itself, but it was really just that I hadn't heard of any movies really being filmed there outside of like some of Dune. So it just felt like the After movies were like an unusual thing to be filmed there. But I've since learned that a bunch of movies are filmed in Bulgaria, particularly during a lot of like the COVID stuff. A lot of productions moved there. I swear I did not mean any personal offense. So I do apologize and appreciate the learning moment. But let's give the slight rundown on After and where we left off for the class. Now you can go ahead and watch my videos on the first 3 movies and the books that I'll have linked down below.
I'm not wearing any underwear.
Fucking Trevor!
But as a brief little reminder, because I still have people being like shocked by this, After started as One Direction self-insert fanfiction. Tessa in the movies was the author's insert character in that fanfiction, and Hardin Scott is Harry Styles. And look, I get that you wanted the names to be close, but Hardin? Where the last one left off, wait, where did the last one leave off? Well, it's convenient if you don't remember, because this one starts with an entire montage of like the main plot points of the last movie, because it's almost like they even felt like they created something so forgettable and uninteresting that movie viewers could not remember from one year to the next. But it literally starts with like a television style, like last time on After, while it speed runs through the main points. As per usual, I'll be going through the source material to compare the two, and just like last time, I turn to today's sponsor, Audible, to save the day. Like I always tell you guys, because it's true, Audible is the best place to find audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. With thousands of different titles across new releases, classics, memoirs, podcasts, and even the book talk infamous, you'll always be able to find the perfect piece of entertainment for you. Every month, Audible gives you a credit to use on any title, including new releases that you get to keep for life. It also comes with free access to the Audible Plus catalog, which gives you unlimited access to select audiobooks, podcasts, Audible originals, sleep tracks, and more. Again, for free. I started listening to After Ever Happy while at TIFF, so while I was waiting in lines or waiting for movies, I was able to get ahead on work, which is amazing. And as mentioned, it's probably the only gift I'm ever gonna have to give my mom again. She loves Audible. So if you're looking for new ways to be inspired, make it through more stories, or just get all nice and cozy inside on the couch as we move into this fall season, make sure to head on over to audible.com/Jedi or text Jedi to 500-500 to get 30 days of Audible completely free. But for those of you who haven't watched this movie, which I actually assume is a big chunk of you, as you may or may not remember, we left off with Hardin finding out that his real dad is Christian Vance, aka the guy that owns the publishing company that Tessa works for, who's always been one of Hardin's mentors and is kind of like essentially where Tessa's living right now. And Hardin finds this out when he catches him banging his mom the day before her wedding, which is not long after Christian got married to his secretary. Just winners all around here. It's never ending. But Hardin's quite traumatized from the revelation for a variety of reasons. For one, he has a bunch of unchecked anger issues.
Hey, Hardin, good to see you. How you been? Fucking Trevor! You bastard!
2, he's been lied to for his entire life. And 3, he feels like he was abandoned by his real dad to be abused by the alcoholic he thought was his father, who admits that he turned to drinking because he assumed Hardin wasn't his kid. Fucking messy, besties! Also, Hardin's mom does not call off her wedding. It still happens, and Christian still attends it with the wife that he cheated on, who is pregnant. Like, we thought Hardin and Tessa were messy. Because they are, but shit. Imagine sleeping with a woman that you were the affair partner of for years and then still turning up to her wedding the next day. But Christian goes to talk to the obviously very upset Hardin and explains that while his mom was head over heels in love with his dad, Ken, when Ken went off to university, he was always so busy and I guess wasn't giving her enough attention. So she turned to Christian for comfort, which is when it got intimate. Sir. Now the book and the movie are largely similar until we get to the end and then like certain motivations, but I will point out that in the book, he specifically mentions that he kept hooking up with Hardin's mom for years, including clearly after he got together with Kimberly, even though he's explaining to Hardin that he loves Kimberly more than he loved Hardin's mom. Yeah, I'm just really seeing that you are absolutely Hardin's father. Hardin's obviously not having it, so he takes off, flashes back to memories of his dad being drunk and ripping up his books because he sensed that he was actually Christian's kid. But eventually Tessa manages to find him outside his mom's house, where he breaks in and lights the place on fire. Thank you! Finally, the excessive drama I need! Sorry. But yeah, he literally lights that bitch up. But before this happens in the book, he ends up at a different bar and we get a casual drive-by encounter from one of his mother's old adult friends that he had apparently slept with when he was young. Like, why the fuck did you bring her up? And why the fuck did you have Hardin say this line? I remember the first time she touched me. I felt like a man fucking my mom's friend. Now, looking at her, I wouldn't fuck her with the bald bartender's dick. What? I'm sorry, that is rude to the English. I will just not do an accent. Of course, it will not address the grooming, but back to the house fire, which is when Christian Vance shows up.
You ruining your life is not gonna make hers better.
Vance does convince him to leave with Tessa, and they just dodge the cops in their fancy little sports car. And you may assume that this is going to be a major conflict in this movie, but obviously not. That would just get in the way of the relationship melodrama. Vance takes the blame, so Hardin's just like, he's got lawyers. I don't know if lawyers can get you off of arson, but apparently he's fine. Barely an inconvenience. The book at least explains that he pinned it on a bunch of local hooligans. But Hardin tells Tessa that he thinks he should stay in London for a little bit and stop dragging her into all his shit. So to try to prevent this from happening, she goes for the luxury car fuck sesh.
Want to stay like this forever?
Well, sadly, relationships don't exist in a vacuum as much as you may want to make them. In the book, she says, I wish you could stay with me forever, which is very different, and I think the movie makes way more sense for the nature of their relationship. She wishes they could stay in this afterglow moment and not constantly have to deal with the outside world, but girl, half the time he gets pissed off about shit. It doesn't have anything to do with the outside world. Also, why did I watch this in theaters? However, I say that while also regretting that I never saw any of the 50 Shades movies in theaters. For the culture. Now, a big difference in the book, which was kind of horrific and gross to read, is that he's the one who pushes her for sex to stop the argument because he's telling her to go back to America and is real gross about it. Stop it, she says with absolutely no conviction. She's trying to deny me because she thinks she should, but we both know that this is what we need. I don't care what her reasons are for saying no and stop. You stop! They get back to town. Hardin tells Tessa to go up first while he gets the bags. Like, girl, obviously he is going to leave you on his self-pity mission. But the big thing with this movie that is a little bit better in the book is that characters are constantly saying one thing but then doing the other. Tessa pointing out that she has to be done with the situation for her own well-being, but then like fighting to get him back immediately. It's a very confusing back and forth that I feel like the movie lost track of. For example, before Tessa realizes that he's done a runner, she's specifically specifically talking to Kimberly about how she feels like she's drowning in the relationship and doesn't know if she can keep fighting to save him, cause no shit, Tessa. But right after establishing that she feels like she's drowning, she finds out that Hardin sent her ticket back to America before bailing, and instead of being like, phew, finally, time to get above water, she goes to track him down. Girl, why? Let him fucking stew some more. But she tracks him down. One of his friends started like some huge party in honor of his return. But when she gets there, Hardin already has a girl draped around his neck wearing his shirt. Like, dude, I get that you're sad, but come on. I'm sure there was another shirt for her. Why are you just wearing a leather jacket? So Tessa, as usual, gives him an ultimatum. Leave with me now or we're done. And he is ready to let her go until one of his friends briefly touches her. Then he's all right back into the control MO.
This is bullshit, Hardin. This isn't us.
Us!
Tessa, this kind of happens between the two of you every single movie, so I think this is us. Never asked me to cover that show. I barely made it through an episode. But while she's pleading with him, he's now arguing with her that she's the one who wants to give up, but he's the one who left and tried to ship her back to America alone. See what I mean? There's just some very conflicting logistics here. So she leaves, he punches the wall as per usual, then just sits at the party all sad boy the whole time as Tessa heads back to Washington. In the book, they actually stress that he broke his hand, so I guess they just didn't want to deal with him having like a fake cast on the entire movie, so they left it out. Gotta keep those swinging fists good for Hardin. So she gets back to their apartment to get the last of her stuff and starts imagining all their good times together, which was like 3 times, honestly, before the memories just dust away like Avengers. But then she finds her dad dead on the ground of her apartment. OD'd. Holy shit, oh my god, oh no. How the fuck was the 3rd installment so bland, and they are not letting up on this one. We're only 25 minutes in. I'm also not trying to make light of the death. There's some rapid fire stuff going on here. So thankfully Landon was there helping her get stuff, so he manages to like take her away, tries to call Hardin, who just like continues to be a petulant child ignoring the calls. The only reason why he ends up talking to him is because this rando girl answers his phone. Now obviously he wants to talk to her, but Landon won't let her, and the only correct thing he asks is like, well then like why the fuck did you call me then? And yeah man, like why did you call if you're pretty positive that Tessa doesn't want to hear from him? And it turns out that she doesn't want to talk to him. And all she can really think about is how like Hardin behaves a lot like her dad, especially with like the drinking. Every time he promises he's gonna stop, something happens and then he's like wasted and burning down a house. Now obviously he immediately flies back to the States, barges into her mom's place when she doesn't want him around, and Landon once again running all-star defense, but she can't handle the fight and bails. Which leads to a nice little sit-down conversation between Hardin and Tessa's mom.
You hate me, Carol, but you should know your opinion means fuck all to me.
But she rightfully points out that Tessa becomes a shadow of herself every time he leaves, and that he doesn't care like he thinks he does.
I love her. I'm never letting her go.
If you really love her, then you'll do what's best for her.
Ah, man, you were the one who shipped her back to America. What are you talking about? Like, the way he talks about her, especially in the book, is just absolutely unhinged. It's so manipulative. Now, Carol has never been the most reasonable mother in this series. She is just downright controlling and horrible, but like, she's not wrong here. She is super bitchy and shitty in the book, though, and I don't just mean to Hardin, but to Tessa too, and to Tessa about the loss of her father. They do point out that like some of it is her just trying to process her feelings about this man who like abandoned them so much. And also in the book, Landon stays in Seattle, and it's Noah, her ex-boyfriend, that comes with her mom to pick up Tessa and bring her back home. So he's the one who's like hanging out with her. And in the book, when he tries to see her after getting back to America, he is immediately super jealous that Noah's there, like rips him off of her. But then she literally screams to get away from Hardin. But back in the movie world, she finally agrees to talk to him and mention how she felt they had a love that was out of a novel, but no matter how many challenges they'd face, they'd survive to tell the story. And Hardin desperately points out that they can survive.
I don't want to survive. I want to live.
There it is, and you could have had that with Trevor, Tessa.
Fucking Trevor!
They even point out later in this book, super randomly, that Trevor ends up getting a girlfriend and ends up like sleeping with her in the office and is apparently super kinky. So like, you could have had the satisfying sex life too, apparently. But once again, we're getting conflicted logistics here. Tessa is saying that he doesn't love her enough to fight for her, that he always gives up, but like, here he is fighting for her, but also good for her.
I'm sorry I couldn't fix you.
Oh no, girl, it is not your job to fix a grown-ass man. Now in the book world, it is worse and significantly more manipulative. Hardin's Hail Mary ploy here is just to toss out, we can get married. My guy, what are you doing? He then breaks the lamp when she sticks to the firm no, just really proving her point here. He's just so manipulative and violent, but then he'll never admit that he's abusive just because he's never physically hit her. It's insanity. But moving to the funeral, Hardin obviously pays for it, but doesn't want Tessa to know, but like, I thought she'd be smart enough to assume that was the case, but then I remember that Tessa's a fucking idiot. And then for some reason, Landon insists that Hardin should go to the reception at her house after the funeral? Landon, whose side are you on here? Let Tessa have some space to grieve her dad before she gets swept up into the emotional turmoil of Hardin's Scott trying to like get her back into a relationship. Now, a major difference here from the book is that for some reason, Hardin calls Zed to come down. You know, the Zed he put in the hospital and the one that plays like oddly nice with Tessa, but then gets like weirdly evil. Obviously, he ends up making a move on her again when he thinks things are done with Hardin, but like, smart move, jackass, the night of her father's funeral? He will immediately be run out of the story after Hardin baits him into admitting that he wanted to sleep with Tessa to get back at Hardin for sleeping with his girlfriend, but then also acknowledges that even through that, Zed genuinely likes Tessa. It's just a huge mess here that ultimately doesn't matter for the story and now makes full sense as to why they omitted his character from like most of the movies. I don't even know why he's here in the book. But Tessa gets overwhelmed at the reception because her mom's just kind of being unreasonable and heads to the greenhouse where she finds Hardin hiding. And as shitty as he is, he's the only one who understands and justifies her feelings at being mad at her dad for coming back into her life and then just essentially killing himself.
I'm so sorry it took something like this for me to realize how much you mean to me.
Yeah, sorry it took your father ODing in our apartment for me to realize how much I care. I just can't. But he ends up telling Tessa that he's finally ready to move to Seattle. Just as a quick reminder, Tessa moved to Seattle. He sabotaged her chances at getting an apartment, assuming that that means she would have to stay. But now he's ready. He's ready to move to be with her.
I don't want anything from you anymore.
Yes, Tessa.
I don't believe you.
Damn it, Hardin! My man, just let her go! In the book, she ends up sleeping with him to clear her mind of all the drama, and he immediately makes it dramatic by once again asking her to marry him. Man goes from adamantly not wanting marriage to harassing her with it as like a final desperate plea. And all this has really just resulted in Tessa thinking that she wants to move to New York with Landon, which means giving up her schooling, and keep in mind that she had just transferred to the Seattle campus and her cushy internship that pays a fuck ton from Vance, which she is beyond lucky to have, and the reminder that she's also living in Vance's house. You know what? Sometimes people just fuck you up that bad.
But if you let sadness control your life, you'll never have one.
But Kimberly ultimately thinks it's a good idea and just comes in with the advice of the, basically like, fake it till you make it. Like, pretend you're moving on and eventually you'll believe it. Obviously, that will not happen here. We all know what this is. So Hardin finally goes to talk to Ken kind of about everything that happened with the cheating and the mom, and then he says that if Tessa ever ends up getting married to someone else someday, that's exactly how the dude will feel, always competing with the memory of Hardin. Oh yeah, the great memories of the drunken fights and the breaking shit and yelling. The competition is steep. It's not abusive, it's passion. But then he gets the casual confirmation that Vance is Hardin's biological father. But obviously, Ken still sees Hardin as his son. And I would hope so, cause he raised him from birth and all that. Would have been great if you would realize that you loved him enough before you were like all abusive and drunk, but yes, whatever. But then it cuts to Tessa getting her test results from the doctor. If you remember, there was kind of some like fishy things in the last one, and it turns out that she is unlikely to be able to get pregnant, or at least unlikely to carry to term. Again, I feel like she will probably end up with kids at some point. Maybe I'm wrong though. I know there's another movie after this one, but there isn't a fifth book. Like, there is a fifth book, but it's called Before, and it's a Hardin prequel, because that's what we need. But now it's her turn to get drunk. Hardin obviously goes to track her down at Vance's and carries her to bed, where they obviously fall asleep together after she asks him if he'd ever want to have a baby. And first he says no, but then it's not not right now. So when they wake up the next morning and he says like, hey, I was just kind of caught off guard. Like obviously someday, like I think I could be okay being a dad. But then she has to let him know that she can't get pregnant. And he just like completely freaks out as if this is some horrible thing for him personally when he has openly stated multiple times that he has like no interest in having kids. He's like a fucking child with a toy he never uses, but like the second someone comes over and wants to use that toy, suddenly it's like the only toy that matters.
Now it just feels like it's been taken away from us.
No, not from you, from me.
Reminder that she has always wanted to be a mom. Like he didn't even and still hasn't stopped to check if she's okay. He never stops to check if she's okay. At least he does in the book. Like he has to apologize in the book, otherwise she'd like never talk to him again.
I just want to be with you. Kids, no kids.
But then she ends up calling him out on that girl at the party who was wearing his shirt, but then he says he like literally threw up when she tried to kiss him. Like, what a cute little back and forth we have here before he's even like checked to see if she's okay. But they are back at the folk horror cabin for Landon's going away party, where Hardin is instantly calling him and his girlfriend out for living 50 minutes apart by train in New York, saying that he could never handle that. Oh buddy, has Tessa got some news coming for you. She pulls him outside and says that they need some time apart. But of course, this is after making googly eyes at him the entire dinner.
We fight more than we get along. When we make up, it's over sex. It's not healthy.
How is sex not healthy?
Hardin, that is not the point. It is the stuff around the fun consensual sex that's the problem. She says she can't just keep going around in circles, so she's gonna move to New York to be Landon's roommate. And he obviously takes that news super well.
He's supposed to be my fucking brother.
It's not like that.
And just immediately starts manhandling him and like slamming him against the wall, and Landon goes hard for the expert belittling.
Oh, go ahead! Fucking hit me, you big man, big piece of shit!
Oh my god, I'm so happy this is everything I wanted from this franchise. I really thought that this moment would have just driven Tessa away firmly, which in the movie it pretty much does, except in the book she talks about how proud she is that he didn't actually hit Landon and his growth. Like, ma'am, I think he held off because when your timid stepbrother is telling you to hit him when you're aggressing, you kind of come across as pathetic. Also, reminder that in the book, his hand is still in a cast, so like, punching him might be stupid for multiple reasons.
You can't just escape yourself by moving from one place to another, you know.
Nope, but she can get away from you. And she has to beg him not to follow her because obviously he would. Now this is where we get some life trajectory changes between the movie and the book. Landon actually calls her out because she delusionally thinks that Hardin handled that situation well and points out that she's just been constantly pulling everyone else into her and Hardin's bullshit. Literally ruining families that are already dealing with decades of existing drama. And he's being extra hard about it now because his mom is pregnant, so like the added stress is like the last thing she needs. So she finally realizes after 3 3/4 books that she sucks, while also still taking way too much of the blame. Like, she's saying that Hardin's only been changing for the better while she's just getting worse. But ma'am, he's not exactly getting good. This started with him regularly sleeping with women as bets or just to ruin their lives for fun. You can really only go up from being gutter sludge. Now, because Landon wants her to gain some perspective because he assumes that Hardin would just like travel across the country anyways, she ends up going back to her mom's place first, which isn't remotely healthy for her. But don't worry, they solve all the drama there by giving her mom a boyfriend. So apparently their relationship is just like mostly all better. So then she moves to New York. The movie just fast tracks it from the argument and making Hardin promise to not follow her if they ever want to have a chance to make it to her in New York. And I was shocked while watching the movie that she actually moved. But it seems like he started some kind of group therapy to get his shit in order, and also seems to be sharing some of his creative writing in the group. I bet they love that. She ends up getting a job as a waitress, which is way more realistic. Rip the publishing dreams, but I guess you'll always have the Vance connection, probably. She just wanted something of her own and have it not be tied to Hardin, which I get. He's still bummed, but she finally seems to be having fun and enjoying life, maybe forming a new little crush here. Wait, is that not the waiter from the last movie? It is! How the hell is he here? Sorry, dude, you're distraction fodder, but it's not nice to see. So I read the book, obviously, after having that initial reaction upon watching. So apparently they reconnected randomly over the summer, and he also happened to be moving for NYU. But it's even better, he gets a job at the same restaurant. It's insanity, but I guess they don't even really properly date though. Then it cuts to 5 months later. That is right. Hardin actually managed to leave her alone for 5 months. Except now that seems to be ending. He's coming to New York for something and Landon's agreed to let him stay at their place. Nora at least says that Tessa could crash with her, but Landon, what the fuck, dude? Your politics on this are pretty conflicting. The book does do a better job of like stressing how Hardin is like taking this time to like work on rebuilding like family connections like with his mom and with Vance and Ken's family. So it makes sense that Landon would still be in touch with him in that way. Oh wow, Tessa got breakup / massive life change bangs? Good for her. My friend Danny knows all about those. Not good for the wig though. Either way, she says it'll be fine because she's working doubles the entire time he's supposed to be in town. So obviously he and Landon turn up his first night in town, specifically asking for her section. Landon, man, what are you doing, you sick fuck? And obviously he waits around for hours for her to get off work to walk her home. So we find out that she's been here, wasn't able to get into the fall semester of NYU. She doesn't have a field-related job. Like, she really blew up her life trajectory for this douche. And all she has to show for it is his hideous fuzzy pink jacket and bangs. Also, I guess maybe some like self-respect and personal growth. Now, obviously, his first night in the apartment, he has one of his classic nightmares, so she shows up so that they can help, and they end up falling to sleep together on the couch. He says he misses her. She obviously misses him too, but I just can't even begin to focus on the drama brewing here because of the wig. Oh no, it's worse when her hair is down. What is this? But they cook a late night dinner and he reveals that he's going to be doing group therapy, which is also kind of AA, but then he says he still has the odd beer or wine, but like, you know, he's getting therapy, so thank God for that. Team therapy, baby. I always said that Hardin Scott was the one who needed it the most from all the people that I've talked about, and that includes a man who kidnapped a woman. But it seems like they're about to get it on the countertop when he shuts it down, which is good because I was gonna say like, damn guys, think of Landon. But he says that they have to wait until she's really sure she wants to be with him. Like honestly kind of seems like a way to maybe manipulate her with some sexual tension, but I thought this was pretty respectful. I thought it was some personal growth. The growth does not exist in the book though, because he pulls some real Edward Cullen shit and says he won't sleep with her again until she agrees to marry him. Now, obviously this only lasts till the next day where they're immediately having sex, but that's still messed up, Hardin. What is wrong with you? But it goes to the next morning where they really need to stress to us that apparently Landon lost his virginity. Like, for why? It also seems like the actor was like, shit, let me show some chest one time. Again, as mentioned, the no sex thing does not last.
I haven't been fucked in 5 months, Teresa. You are pushing every ounce of my self-control.
Ooh, the music here is just really just no. So obviously she is in fact ready to just go to town, and it shifts to this like kaleidoscope lighting. Again, just these like artistic fuck sessions. And just like that, he's back in the game. They're getting back together, but he has to head out the next morning for a meeting. Which is when she finds the book he's been writing called After. Yes, that is correct. Hardin Scott is the author of the After series, which as expected is him writing about their life together after he met her. She reads the old thing and is pissed.
She stumbled through the room the way that tasteless girls move when they drink too much.
Now in the book he says that passage was not about her, but apparently he's been writing this after the first time they kissed. You know, back when it was still a dare to sleep with her. Yeah, in case everybody forgot how their epic romance started, it was a dare to take her virginity. He says he never meant for it to get published, but reading it in group therapy led people to like encourage him to start actually looking to publish it, and then apparently now there's a bidding war for it. Like he could have at least run it by her, because now he's pulling the like, what good is all the bullshit we went through if it can't be used to help people? Like, my dude, I am not gonna shade you for like making some cash and pursuing a dream, but you had to know how this was gonna turn out, and you made your choice. But he argues that the whole thing is a story about forgiveness, that no matter what pops up, you can always change and it's never too late, and that's the kind of story After is.
After?
It's my journey after I met you.
I think that journey's over.
Ooh, Tessa with the sick lines! Good job, dipshit! Obviously, he still sells the book, and honestly, probably a good idea. My dude needed some life direction. But it cuts to New Year's where Tessa has no kisses, but then she reads an article about the bidding war titled Happily Never After, probably because the book has to end with her telling him to pan sand. Before it cuts to a little bit later, Tessa's clearly gotten into NYU, but she walks by a bookstore with hundreds of copies of After in the window and finds out that he's gonna be doing a book signing. Good for him getting all that buzz, I guess. So she decides not to go to the gallery opening with Robert, who apparently she's been like lately dating, so she can hit the reading and love the disguise. I love it when people think just like a ball cap is enough to disguise yourself, but like, Tessa, you have a pink coat. No one is going to miss that. It's like robbing a store in a pair of glow green Yeezy slides. So it looks like she's gonna stand around for a bit before it seems like he makes some kind of like flirty eyes, or like the publisher is making flirty eyes at him, or maybe it's like the bookstore owner or whatever, but like she leaves. It feels very All Too Well Taylor's version short story movie, which I saw in 35mm film at TIFF with a Q&A with her, and it was clearly not as artistic, but then it cuts to be continued. Oh my god, how many cliffhangers will they serve me this year? Now this is where the book veers off a lot. And it is absolutely because they wanted to milk this for a 5th movie. Like in the movie, they don't get back together, but it cuts to 2 years later at Landon's wedding, where she and Hardin are paired up to walk down the aisle because they're both in the wedding party. But I guess they've been having these random little fuck sessions every now and again, even though she's lightly been dating Robert, but apparently never slept with him, but he is also at this wedding as her date. Like, it specifically says that she hooked up with Hardin at a wedding like a couple months ago. Now he's still been pushing to get her back completely, like dropping things in interviews. He uses his speech to mention losing love again. Man, don't be that person at a wedding. You won't know how lucky you are to be able to spend your life with the other half of your soul until you have to spend your life without them. Don't be that guy, Hardin. But even though she's pissed, this just leads to them hooking up in the bathroom again while Robert is just like right outside, and Tessa finally agrees to marry Hardin. I'm just kind of speed running through this because I'm assuming that most of this is going to make up the plot of the next movie, but they almost end up eloping to Vegas before deciding that they want family there. Then it kind of speed runs through her getting pregnant, losing the first one, then having 2 kids, and then they live happily ever after. I'm sorry, after ever happy. So yeah, that's apparently what we have to look forward to in the next movie. Yay! But yeah, that is After Ever Happy, significantly more interesting than the last one, as I've said a couple times. It's still not great by any means. I think the movie streamlines it a lot more compared to the book, but Hardin is way more manipulative in the book. They absolutely kind of find a better balance for him in the movies, where he still is kind of unreasonable and unhinged in this one, but like significantly less manipulative. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you've watched it, if you've read it, let me know if I should do Before, which is like the Hardin Scott prequel, just kind of on its own, because I really doubt we're gonna get the Before movie unless they tie in a bunch of it to the next movie, because I don't really know what to expect from it. But yeah, let me know if I should just cover that separately. But thank you all so much for watching. Thanks as always to my Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like on the video if you're into that kind of thing. Follow me on a variety of different social medias that I'll have linked down below. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm mostly okay, and we'll catch you all later.
I'll make you love me, I'll make you love me, I'll make you love me, bling 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 bling.